Balu.
Yeah, he's still on mute. I can see that.
Hello, Girish.
Balu, Girish ని అన్మ్యూట్ చేస్తారా? ఓకే.
Jekka is also joining us. Hello, hi Girish.
Namaste, everyone. Namaste. Am I
Namaskara,
audible?
Girish.
Yes, Girish, yes.
Yeah, Girish, you're audible.
Hello, namaskara, everyone.
Yeah.
So my question for today was like Swamiji, after Swamiji did this tapas, like Swamiji informed that Shiva gave his darshan. So
Yeah.
a darshan ಬಗ್ಗೆ description ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ? So did he describe like was Shiva having snake, like how we see like a real darshan, how was it ಅಂತ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಲೂ ಕಲರ್ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿದೀವಿ, ಬಟ್ ಹೌ ವಾಸ್ ದಟ್ ರಿಯಲ್ ದರ್ಶನ್ ಡಿಡ್ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್? ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Unmute yourself, uncle. Uncle, you have to unmute, uncle. Oh, maybe Balu you can do.
No. I have done it. Yeah. So now can you hear me?
Yes, uncle. Yes.
Okay, Girish. Thanks for asking that question. Okay. So, I mean, we know a part of the answer. So, but you wanted a description of how Lord Shiva looked to Swamiji. Okay, to Satyaraju or Swamiji. So let us begin with that. At the beginning, I mean, right on the 7th of August, 1949, Lord Shiva appeared in front of Satyaraju in the form of Jangamadevara. Balu, can you show the photograph of Jangamadevara?
Yes, uncle.
Girish, have you again joined the meeting? Balu, screen share chestava? Okay, the Jangamadevaras, as they are called in that part of Andhra Pradesh, where Adivarapeta is, okay, they are like the person in this photograph. Okay, now they wear Rudraksha garlands. They carry a bell in their hand and also a conch, Shanka antam kada adanamata. Okay, so they live by begging. Okay, so they are considered devotees of Lord Shiva, though. So they go from house to house in the villages and then they beg for alms, and whatever they are given, they live by that. And their dress is also like what we see in the picture. Okay. Now, this is the form in which Lord Shiva appeared in front of Satyaraju when Satyaraju was eating the palmyra fruit. Okay. Now, the additional description that Swamiji gave was that he was very well built. Okay. And he was not a very old man like it is shown in the pictures or the paintings. Okay. He was quite young. That's what Swamiji says. And he was well built and he was 7 feet tall, it seems. Okay. And Swamiji told us that he had his hair matted and on top of his head. See, generally matted hair is on the back, like we see Swamiji's matted hair, like. But then people who are rishis, our ancient rishis, like Vishwamitra or Vasishta, the way we see them in the idols and in the pictures is that they wear their jata on the top of their head. So Jangamadevara, when he appeared in front of uh, Satyaraju to initiate him into tapas, that's how he looked. Okay, his hair was on the head. Okay. Now, so that is the first form of Jangamadevara. Okay. Just a minute. I need to get my Word document. Navya, ఈ విండోని మినిమైజ్ చేసే ఎట్లా అమ్మా?
ఏ విండో అంకుల్?
ఈ జూమ్ విండో ఉంది కదా, అది ఫుల్ స్క్రీన్ లో ఉంది.
మినిమైజ్ అని ఎస్కేప్
ఎగ్జిట్ ఫుల్ స్క్రీన్ వచ్చిందమ్మా, వచ్చింది. థ్యాంక్ యూ. జస్ట్ గివ్ మీ ఎ మినిట్. I have all the answers in a Word file, so I'm trying to shift the Word file to the other screen in my laptop, in my computer, so I can read from that, so I don't forget any points. Okay, so just give me a minute. Okay, now this is the form that Swamiji used to call his guru. Okay, I mean, see, there were times when he used the word Bhagavan, okay, or Bhagavantudu. So that would mean Lord Shiva in his original form. We are just coming to that. I'll also describe what is the original form of Lord Shiva that Swamiji had seen. Okay. Now, so, but this form of the Jangamadevara, that is what Swamiji used to refer to as his guru. Why? Because that Jangama appeared in front of Swamiji, actually manifested, okay, or appeared in front of Swamiji, Satyaraju, or all during his 12 years of tapas. Okay, whenever Satyaraju required guidance in doing his tapas or including his health or anything else, then Jangamadevara would come in front of him and then guide him. So that is the reason Swamiji used to refer to him as his guru. Okay, and Lord Shiva, Swamiji used to refer to him as Bhagavanta, Bhagavan, Bhagavantudu. These are the words he used for Lord Shiva. Okay, now after Satyaraju completed 4 years of tapas, he started it in 1949. So in 1953 was when Satyaraju first had Lord Shiva's darshan in his original form. Okay. Now, how was that form? Swamiji described to us. I mean, it's there in the book also. In all his books, that description is there. He says, Lord Shiva was of white complexion. White in the sense, translucent white. Okay. Like we have camphor, right? Karpura. So that is the reason Lord Shiva is called Karpura Gauram. That is white as camphor. Camphor is Karpura. Karpura Gauram is white like camphor. Okay. So that is the form in which Swamiji used to see him. So the first time he saw that form of Lord Shiva was after he completed 4 years of tapas. When he completed when he successfully completed the eastern direction, facing the east direction of the Diktapas. Swamiji performed 8 years of Diktapas. The first 4 years he was facing east. Okay, so at that time, Satyaraju saw Lord Shiva in his original form. Okay, now we don't have any other description about that form. Okay, he only told us that he was white. The other aspect that Swamiji described was that there was an effulgent glow all around him. So whenever Lord Shiva appeared in Swamiji's room, in Satyaraju's Tapo Mandir in that form, in the original form, the whole room will be glowing with light. That is Satyaraju's experience. Okay. Not only that, it's written in the book that that bliss, that ananda, that happiness that Swamiji got because of the darshan of Lord Shiva on that day, that continued, they say, for a few days. He always used to be in that bliss for a few days from the day he actually saw Lord Shiva. Okay, so that is one, the other form of Lord Shiva that Satyaraju had seen. Okay, now, so this is the form that appeared in front of Swamiji when he completed tapas facing east, tapas facing north, and tapas facing south. Okay, I have left out west. Now, Swamiji himself explained to us that when he completed the tapas facing west, which was incidentally the most difficult, the most severe, the most stringent of the tapas. Okay, on the completion of that tapas, Swamiji told us that he saw Lord Shiva in the form of Nataraja. Okay, and Swamiji told us that Nataraja and Girija both came and gave him darshan. Okay. Now, not only that, when we talk about Nataraja, we imagine or we think of the dancing form of Shiva. That is the meaning of Nataraja, right? The king of dance. But Swamiji told us that he was in the form of a tribal king, meaning the tribes who live in the forests, on the hills. Okay, so his form was like that. That is what Swamiji explained to us. And even goddess Parvati, he told us, was like the daughter of a mountain king or a tribal king. Okay, that is why she gets the name Girija, born of the hill. It's not really the hill that is meant there. Okay, what we mean by Giri there is the king of the hill or the king of the forest. Okay, so both Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati were in the form of tribals. When Swamiji completed his tapas to the western direction, okay, that time they gave him darshan in that form. Okay, now ultimately we have the description of Lord Shiva and Parvati as they appeared in front of Swamiji when he completed the 12 years tapas on the 7th of August 1961, right? Actually, it was on the 1st of August. That's how it is written in the book. But the function of completion of tapas was celebrated on the 7th of August because he sat in tapas on the 7th of August. Okay. So on the 1st of August 1961, when Lord Shiva and Parvati appeared in front of Swamiji inside his tapo mandir, Swamiji described that Lord Shiva was again of the camphor color, translucent white color. And he told us that goddess Parvati, her complexion was golden complexion, the color of gold. Okay, this is what Swamiji told us. And the additional description that we have of Shiva at that time is that he also had the Vasuki around his neck. Vasuki is the name of the serpent which is around the neck of Lord Shiva. Okay. Now, there are also other stories of Vasuki. We don't need to go into that now because we are looking at the form of Lord Shiva. Okay. Now, Girish, this is what I had to tell you about the form of Lord Shiva, Girish. Okay. Now, there is a small story for you to understand, it's imaginable that a lot of people had this question, okay? How does Lord Shiva appear? You know? So what happened was one night, Yashoda Akka, myself, and my sister, uh, some of you might know her. Her name was Dr. Shivarajeshwari Devi. She was a doctor by profession and qualification. Okay, so we three were in Swamiji's room. I mean, we spent a lot of evenings with Swamiji. Uh, so we used to be there until he actually fell asleep, and then we would go back to our rooms. So on some of those nights, Swamiji would be in a very good mood. And then all of a sudden he'll say, go ahead. I say, please ask some questions, whatever questions you have in mind, please ask me those questions. So then my sister took the opportunity and she asked him, Swamiji, how did Lord Shiva and Parvati, how did they appear in front of you? So his answer was, just like you, Amma, just like you and I, we are all here, they also appeared like us. Then my sister again asked him, do you mean they actually appeared in physical bodies like us, physical forms like us? Then Swamiji, no, 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 not physical forms. They came in the astral form. Okay. Now, what is astral form? Astral, as you know, is an English word, right? But the word that we use in Sanskrit is Sukshma Sharira, astral body. Okay. Now, there are actually two meanings to Sukshma. One is that it is very small, minute. That is called Sukshma, very small, very minute. There is another meaning of Sukshma, which is subtle. Subtle in the sense, I mean, one way of saying it is the opposite is heavy, heavy and light. That light is what I'm talking about. Not weight, okay? Not glow or anything like that. Hello, Koti. నమస్కారం కోటి ఇది సత్సంగ్ జూమ్ కాల్లో ఉన్నాను కోటి నేను తర్వాత చేస్తాను ఓకే కోటి బాయ్ ఓకే సో దట్ ఐ మీన్ that's a subtle form. So when we say astral form of the gods, it means the subtle form. So it's not a physical sthula sharira like us. It's a sukshma sharira. Okay. So then Swamiji explained to us that they came, Lord Shiva and Parvati came in their sukshma shariras. Okay. Then immediately, I don't remember exactly whether it was Yashodaka who asked or my sister who asked him, Swamiji, please explain to us what does Sukshma Sharira mean? How is it? How does it look? Can you touch it? Of course, Ma, you can touch it. It's exactly like our body, just like our bodies are there, the Sukshma Sharira is also like that. Again, we three were surprised. Then what is the difference between a subtle body and an astral form and a physical form? So again, my sister asked, probably her question was because she was a medical doctor. She asked Swamiji, does the Sukshma Sharira have flesh and blood like we have? Because you are saying they are like our physical bodies. Swami said, yes, of course, they have flesh and blood also. And that shocked us. So again, she asked him, Swamiji, does that mean that if I pinch the body, if I pinch the Sukshma Sharira, will it bleed? Swami said, yes, it will bleed. It has flesh and blood, so if you pinch it, it will bleed. Some of you might think that that's a very funny way of understanding what a subtle body is, okay, or a Sukshma Sharira is. But that's the conversation we had with Swamiji, He used to explain it in such simple terms. It was never complicated for us to understand, okay? Now, so to put it in different words, it means that there is absolutely no difference between the physical body and the astral body, okay, or the astral form of the body, okay? to explain one more step further, right? If Swamiji appears here in front of us in his subtle body now, you will not be able to make out whether it is a subtle body or a physical body just by looking at it or even by touching it. Okay, you can touch an astral body. And we have another evidence also of that. I mean, I have other evidences also, but I don't want to prolong the story here. We have lots of questions to take up. When Lord Shiva appeared as Jangamadevara in front of Satyaraju, I'm sure that's an astral body. How am I sure? Because the other boys who were sitting around and having their palmyra fruit, they could not see him. Only Satyaraju saw him. Now, how is that possible with a physical body? It is impossible, right? If there is a physical body there, all those who were around could have seen it, but nobody saw it. Nobody else saw it. Only Satyaraju saw it. Okay? So that is proof that that is an astral form. But Swamiji also told us that the Jangamadevara touched him on the Brukuti. So touch is possible for a Sukshma Sharira. Okay? So this is the little bit, small pieces, bits and pieces of understanding and information that we got from Swamiji. Okay? We'll have to extrapolate on that and then try to understand a little more. Yeah. So that's my answer, Girish. I hope I have answered your exact question.
Completely. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಜೈ ಶಿವ.
Okay,
Thank
Girish.
you. Thank you,
Okay,
Uncle.
Girish. Thanks.
Thank you, Uncle. With that, shall we move on to the second question, Uncle?
Yeah. So
Thank you.
is
I think Manohar is not available today.
okay. Okay, Pawan.
Yes,
You
I'll
go
go
ahead
ahead
and
and
ask the question.
Sure, Uncle. Thank you. Yeah. So this question is from Manohar. He's from Rajahmundry. So he's asking if Swamiji were to assume another physical form after several decades or centuries, how would devotees or disciples be able to recognize and receive him again as their guru? So his question is that if Swamiji comes here again after several decades and centuries, how do we recognize him as a devotees or as a disciples? Huh. Interesting question, Uncle.
Okay. Okay, so let me answer this. See, so far as I know, nobody has asked him this question. Okay. It's not there in the books also. Whatever books I have read, this question is not there. Okay. But my guess is if this question was asked of Swamiji, his answer would have been, oh, it happens automatically. Okay. Now that word he used very often, automatically. Okay. But let us also understand what that automatically means with this question and the answer to it. Okay. Now, Manohar and all the fellow devotees who are there in the meeting, as I said, we don't have a question like that answered by Swamiji. Okay. So what I am trying to do is, let us look at disciples who had come back to Swamiji during his recent birth. That is, when he was born as Satyaraju and became Shivabalayogi, we know that some devotees or some people who were devotees of his earlier births, they had again come to him. Okay? So what I want to do is, I want to take those examples and see how they came to Swamiji. So that's the question basically, right? Manohar is asking us, how would devotees recognize the Guru if he takes a next birth and comes back to the earth? Okay. So what I'm saying is, I don't know the answer from Swamiji. I don't have an answer really, but I can always derive an answer looking at what happened in this lifetime of Swamiji And I assume the same thing happens in the next lifetime also. Okay. So can devotees tell me some names of devotees who were his devotees in the previous births also? Anyone, please? Or you can send the answers in the chat. Balu, chat open ఉంది కదా బాలు?
ఉంది అంకల్.
ఏమైనా మెసేజెస్ వచ్చినాయా దాంట్లో?
వచ్చాయి అంకల్.
అవునా? ఏమైనా ఆన్సర్స్ వస్తున్నాయా?
లేదు అంకల్, రాలేదు. వచ్చాయి అంకల్.
Yeah, Rekha. Yes, Rekha, you are correct. My grandfather Garaga Narsimurti was one of the devotees who was also his devotee in an earlier birth. Anybody else? So many of you have read Swamiji's books, right? How about Tapasviji Maharaj? We all know that he was Swamiji's devotee even in his earlier life, right? So let us look at how Tapasviji Maharaj came to Satyaraju this time, in this lifetime. Okay? Now, so it's a very interesting story. So let me tell you as I know it. Okay, this you may not find it in the book. Okay, it has not been recorded as such, but I know this story from people who know Tapasviji Maharaj, and I'm not sure if Swamiji disclosed this, but I know that story. Okay, we know that Tapasviji Maharaj lived for 186 years. Okay, and when he came to Satyaraju the first time, he was 180 years old, 180. He was as old as that. And he was known to be a very great tapasvi. He had done years and years of tapas by then. Okay. So how did such a great tapasvi, how did he come to Satyaraju? I mean, who was an ordinary village boy, 14 years of age, and he was a weaver by profession, and he was made to sit in tapas by Lord Shiva. This much we know, right? And I think this incident of Tapasviji Maharaj coming and visiting him happened within a few months of Swamiji or Satyaraju sitting in tapas. So how did it happen? Okay. The story is, it seems in those days, Tapasviji Maharaj was at his ashram in Nandi Hills here, near Bangalore. Okay. It's about 50 kilometers from here. And Tapasviji Maharaj has an ashram here. It is still there. That ashram is still in Nandi Hills, at the foot of the hills. Okay. So Tapasviji Maharaj was there and he was doing his tapas. He used to regularly do tapas. Okay. Now, while he was in tapas here, he saw in his vision a young boy doing tapas. Okay. And he understood that this was happening near the Godavari River, on the banks of the Godavari River. Because he saw the vision in his dhyan, meditation, he went to Kakinada. Why did he go to Kakinada? Because he had an ashram there. Okay. Even now that ashram is there. We had been there when we went there in February. So he went to Kakinada ashram. And there he started inquiring, is there a young boy sitting in tapas here, around or near or on the banks of the Godavari River? So in those days, there was a Balayogi by the name of Mummidivaram Balayogi. I mean, each of these Balayogis, there were actually 7 boys who were made to sit in tapas around the same time, all on the banks of the Godavari River. Okay. But one of them was very famous even by then. I am talking about 1949 or probably 1950. Okay. So in those days, one of them by the name of Mummidivaram Balayogi. That Mummidivaram is actually the name of the town, okay, where he was doing the tapas. So he was quite famous in that area. He was the one who was generally called as Balayogi. If anybody said Balayogi, they meant him, Mummidivaram Balayogi. So naturally, Tapasviji Maharaj, it seems, was taken to Mummidivaram Balayogi to have his darshan. So Tapasviji Maharaj went there, had the Balayogi's darshan, but he could make out that the, the boy that he saw in his vision was not this Balayogi. So he simply came back to Kakinada and again he started inquiring further. Is there any other Balayogi around? Okay. I think that is when he met my grandfather, because my grandfather, he is originally from Kakinada, but in those days he was working as the Tahsildar. Now I think the Tahsildar post is called MRO, Mandal Revenue Officer. Okay. So these are people who work under the collector. The collector is the head of the district. So under the collector, there are taluks in each district. So for each taluk, there is a tahsildar. Okay. I mean, so that's the Urdu word. Each taluk was called a tehsil. And a tehsildar is the revenue officer of that tehsil. So my grandfather was like that. Okay. So then somehow Tapasviji Maharaj got in touch with my grandfather. I mean, in this photograph, you see my grandfather in the coat there, okay, wearing a jacket. He is my grandfather. He was my grandfather, sorry. Okay. So then my grandfather took Tapasviji Maharaj to Adivarapeta and they went and met Swamiji's mother. And Swamiji's mother took Tapasviji Maharaj to that small hut inside which Satyaraju was sitting in tapas. I'm not sure. I think during that time, the 12 by 12 Dhyan Mandir was built already. Okay. So I think it was in that room that Swamiji Satyaraju was seated in Samadhi and Tapasviji Maharaj was taken there. So he saw the Balayogi and he recognized, yeah, this is the Balayogi that I saw in my vision. So this Balayogi appeared in my vision and he wanted to talk to Satyaraju. So they inquired from his mother. So his mother told him, no, sir, he comes out of Samadhi only during the night, at midnight. Okay. So Tapasviji Maharaj went back. Probably he must have gone back to Kakinada. And he came and visited Satyaraju again and again. Because he was looking for an opportunity to talk to Satyaraju. Okay. Then once when he came there, he had this question nagging him, why did this boy, this village boy, appear in my vision? What is the connection between him and me? He wanted to find out that. Okay, as I told you, he was a tapasvi. He was not an ordinary person like us. He had done years and years, decades of tapas. So naturally, he sat in front of Satyaraju and he went into dhyan, meditation. And then in the meditation, he realized that this boy who was sitting in front of him was actually his guru. Who was his guru? His guru was Guru Nanak's son. What's his name, Balu?
Shri Chandra Maharaj, uncle.
Sri Chandra Maharaj. Okay. Sri Chandra Maharaj was Tapasviji Maharaj's guru. Okay? Now, so the same Sri Chandra Maharaj was again born as Satyaraju in Adivarapeta. So Tapasviji Maharaj realized this. So as soon as he realized this, he asked for some flowers to be brought. A picture malli chupinchabalu. He asked for some flowers to be brought, and he offered those flowers to Satyaraju and worshipped him. Okay? Just try to imagine this. Here is a yogi who is 180 years old, and he has done decades and decades of tapas. He was known as Tapasviji Maharaj. Such a great saint, he comes and offers flowers at the feet of this boy who was just 14 years of age, a young boy, and he offered the flowers at his feet. Okay? Now, Satyaraju's mother, Parvatama, must have seen all this. So she was very surprised, what is happening? Who is my son? Why is this great saint worshipping my son? She was very perplexed. Okay? Then Satyaraju did not get out of Samadhi, even on that visit of Tapasviji Maharaj. So after Tapasviji Maharaj left, that night, when Satyaraju got out of Samadhi, his mother Parvatama told him, "My dear son, there is a great saint who has come here for your darshan. He has already come here 3 times. But every time he comes here, you are in Samadhi. And he wants to talk to you and he is unable to talk to you." So it seems Satyaraju simply replied to his mother, "Mother, don't worry about it. The next time when he comes here, I will not be in Samadhi. I will talk to him." Okay? Then it so happened that the next time when Tapasviji Maharaj came to visit Satyaraju, Satyaraju was not in Samadhi. Now, how did that happen? I don't know, right? I don't have the answer to that. But I think with the help of some interpreters, Tapasviji Maharaj spoke to Satyaraju. It's interesting it's a very important point that I want to make here because we have the opportunity. That time, Tapasviji Maharaj asked him one question. "What food are you taking?" Tapasviji Maharaj asked Satyaraju. Satyaraju said, "Nothing. I am not taking anything at all." That was his condition. Okay, he was actually starving. Okay, and some people who had seen him at that time, they felt that he is going to die, meaning his body will not be able to survive that starving and the body will perish. And that's exactly what Tapasviji Maharaj told Satyaraju. He said, "No, you have to take nutrition." Okay. Now, until then, the villagers, people around Satyaraju, they didn't know what tapas was. They just believed that tapas means you don't eat anything, you don't drink anything. That is called tapas. Okay? They were wrong. So it was Tapasviji Maharaj who came and said, "No, every day you should at least have a glass of milk. Otherwise, your body is going to perish." This is exactly what Tapasviji Maharaj told Satyaraju. Okay? He told him this, and then he went away. He left Adivarapeta. Then I don't know what happened. The others who were there, they must have told Parvatama. Then it seems she immediately ran and caught hold of Tapasviji Maharaj at Draksharamam. Then she met Tapasviji Maharaj and said, "Swami, it seems you told my son that he has to take a glass of milk every day, otherwise he is going to die. But from where shall I get the milk?" Try to understand that situation, okay? In that village, there was no milk available at that time. Probably in the other villages where there are farmers, okay, they will have cattle, okay, they will have cows or they will have buffaloes, and that milk will be available for people to buy. But here in this village, all the people are weavers by profession. They only know weaving cloth. They don't have any cattle. Okay, so she ran to Tapasviji Maharaj. From where shall I get the milk to feed my son? Okay, he said, oh, is that the case? Then he immediately purchased a cow, it seems. Imagine that, he is in Draksharamam, a small town somewhere in Andhra Pradesh. He doesn't know the language there, nothing. I don't know whether he had the money to buy a cow actually. So he bought a cow and a calf and he gifted them to Parvatamma, Swamiji's mother, Satyraju's mother. So it seems from that time onwards, Parvatamma somehow fed the cow and that milk was supplied to Satyaraju. Try to understand this. It is because of that glass of milk that he took at that time, by the advice of Tapasviji Maharaj, that body survived. Okay? Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Satyaraju couldn't have completed his tapas. His body could have perished. You understand the importance that Tapasviji Maharaj played? And actually, Swamiji talked about this in the US. When I had gone as an interpreter along with him, he told the people there, people asked him, you say that you were doing tapas for 12 years. You say you were sitting in samadhi for 23 hours a day. How did your body survive? So that is when Swamiji told them that there are 3 people who are responsible for keeping me alive. The first one is Tapasviji Maharaj. The second one is his mother, Allaka Parvatamma. And he gave the credit for that to my grandfather also. Probably because my grandfather protected him from the other villagers during that crucial time. Okay. So this is the reply he gave to the American devotees in 1990. Okay. So Manohar is not here, but I finish the answer to this question at this stage. But I would like to take up this question in a few of the satsang sessions that we have. And in each session, I will tell you the story of another devotee who was a devotee of Swamiji in a previous life. Okay. So that way we should be able to understand how automatically the devotees will come back to Swamiji. Okay. Even the next time. Okay. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Uncle. We got so many other names as well listed in the chat, Kim, who are the previous birth.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Sidhu has mentioned few of them.
Lakshmi Garu, Orissa Maharani, Sureka Garu, Gopanna Garu, Tom Garu. Okay, Sidhu. You are right, Sidhu. So I'll try to take up the stories of each of these people. Not all of them. I don't know the stories of all of them. Okay, but we'll try to. Yeah, Girish, I agree that probably we were also devotees of Swamiji, but please wait patiently until you listen to the other 2-3 stories, okay? You might find them interesting from this aspect. Were we also devotees? That's still a question. I won't answer them. I answer that now. We'll see once I finish some 3-4 sessions and take up this question again and again. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Uncle.
Let's proceed to the next question.
Sure, Uncle. Uncle, this question is from Ripon Singh, and I don't see him. By any chance, he is with the other name here. Can I call out Nipendra Singh if you're here, please? Can you?
Nipendra Bhaiya, आप यहाँ हो क्या? Yeah, Pawan. So just go ahead, Pawan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So
Okay.
you have the question, right?
I do have that, uncle. I do have
Okay,
that.
Pawan.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thanks, uncle. Sure, very good. Okay. This question is from Ripendra Singh, Dehradun, and he asks, uncle, that you and your family members, including your revered grandfather, have been intimately connected with Sri Swamiji right since Sri Swamiji Tapas days. We will be very grateful if you can share the personal stories, experiences, and memories of yours and your family members' sacred association with Sri Swamiji. So he's asking your experiences with all your family and you, uncle.
Yeah. బాలు ఆయన ఉన్నారేమో చూస్తావా బాలు నృపేంద్ర సింగ్ అని
చూస్తాను అంకుల్.
ఓకే
లేరు అంకుల్, ఆయన రాలేదు అంకుల్.
ఓకే బాలు ఏదో కారణం ఉండొచ్చు సరే సో లెట్ మీ జస్ట్ గో అహెడ్ విత్ ది స్టోరీ ఐ థింక్ హీ విల్ వాచ్ ది వీడియో because it's being live streamed, right? I mean, it's being recorded, so he should be able to watch the video. I mean, I have been postponing this question for the last 2 weeks, so I just wanted to take it up here. And because it's also connected with the question number 2, okay? Now, this is another interesting story of how my grandfather came to Swamiji, okay? Now, as I told you, my grandfather, around that time, that is 1949, my grandfather, his name was Garaga Narasimhamurthy. He was the Tahsildar. He was serving as the Tahsildar in a small village there called Ramachandrapuram. So that is the headquarters of the Tahsil of the Mandalam. So his office was there and he was the Tahsildar there. Okay. So this is a story from my grandfather. Okay. It seems one night in his sleep, my grandfather saw a boy seated in tapas. Okay. Maybe he wouldn't have realized that it is tapas. He saw a boy sitting in dhyan, meditation. Okay. Then he heard a voice as if the boy was speaking. Okay. I mean, he could see that the voice is not the boy's voice, but he could hear the voice in the dream saying, Tatagaru, ఒకసారి రండి మీ సాయం కావాలా ఒకసారి రండి. So that is Telugu. That is the language that Satyaraju spoke. It was his mother tongue, and that is also the mother tongue of my grandfather, Telugu. Okay. So my grandfather was surprised. He said, "What is this? A boy appears in my dream, and he seems to be calling me to come and help him. I don't know this boy. I cannot recognize him. And what help does he require from me? Why is he calling me?" Then he just brushed it away, thinking that, oh no, it's just some dream. I don't understand what it is. Then he just went on with his work. Okay. It seems the next night, the same dream occurred again. The same boy appears in his vision and he hears the same voice. Grandfather, please come and help me. Now that surprised him. He said, okay, one day I get some strange dream. It happens to everybody, so that's not very surprising. But the same dream occurs the next night, and the same boy appears in the dream, and again he's asking me to come and help him. Then he thought about it. How do I go and find a boy who is sitting in meditation? Where shall I go? Where shall I look for him? How shall I find him? Okay, he didn't know what to do. So he was busy with his work through the day. He came back at night, he had his dinner and went to sleep again. And again, the third night, 3 successive nights, okay? The same boy appeared in the dream again to my grandfather and said, "Grandfather, I've been calling you, but you're not coming. I need your help. Please come. Please come and help me." So my grandfather was perplexed. Okay, I mean, who is this boy? Why is he coming in my dreams and why is he inviting me? Why is he requesting me to come and help him? And what is the help he requires? And then he kept on wondering about that. And throughout the day also, he was thinking about that. But he didn't know what to do, how to proceed, where to go, where to look for the boy, how to search for him. Well, he didn't have Google at that time, he couldn't have Googled, he's a boy doing dhyan somewhere or something like that. So the only thing he could think of was this. That evening, after he finished his office work, he was about to get into his jeep. In those days, I think even now it's there. The Tahsildar was provided with a jeep by the government to commute between his office and, of course, the whole Tahsil also he has to roam around, right? So he was given a jeep. So as he was about to get into the jeep, he asked the attender of the office, the guy who takes care of cleaning the office, supplying him drinking water and those things, that kind of a person. He called him and he said, "Do you know of any boy who is sitting in dhyan around this area?" That guy somehow learned about it because it was close to Draksharamam, right? It was close to Adivarapeta also. Draksharamam is about 2 kilometers from Adivarapeta. Ramchandrapuram is about 6 kilometers from Adivarapeta. So he has heard the news that a boy from the weaving community, in Telugu we call them Salevallu. So a boy from the weaving community is sitting in meditation for the last 3 months, is what he told my grandfather. "Oh, is that so? Where exactly is he sitting?" He said, "Sir, that boy is from the village called Adivarapeta. It is about 6 kilometers from here. You will have to go to Draksharama and from there you will have to go there." He said, "Okay, then I'll go there now." So from the office, he set off in his jeep. Of course, there was a driver, so the driver took him to Draksharamam. And from there, they tried to find a road to Adivarapeta. But it seems in those days, there was not even a road to Adivarapeta, not even a mud road. That was the state of the infrastructure in those days. Okay, I am talking about 1949, 75 years ago. Okay. So then my grandfather had to get off from the jeep and walk on the bunds of the fields. Okay. I mean, in the fields, you will find narrow bunds, right, where you can just walk on the bund. A vehicle cannot go, nothing else can go. Only people can walk over that. So that was the only method of reaching Draksharama, which is the marketplace for all those villages around Draksharama. Okay. So he got off from the vehicle, he walked to Adivarapeta. Then he inquired in the village and he found out that Sacharaju was seated in meditation. Then the villagers encouraged him to approach his mother, saying that it is this lady's son that is sitting in dhyan, meditation. Okay. So my grandfather went and met Allaka Parvatamma. And he said, "I want to see your son because I understand that he is doing the meditation." So then Parvatamma took him to that small hut. Okay. So by this time, Satyaraju had moved to the Vella Jamindar's field. Okay. It is not actually his field, but it's called the Punta. That is the graveyard where infants were buried in those days. Okay. So in that place, there was a hut put up The Jamindar himself arranged for that. So my grandfather was taken there, and it seems there was a gunny bag for a curtain in the front. Okay. So Allaka Parvatamma moved the curtain, and my grandfather had to bend down, okay, and look inside the hut. And there was this boy sitting in rapt meditation. Okay, he looked at the boy, and as soon as he looked at him, he recognized him. Yeah, this is the boy who appeared in my dream. Then he told Allaka Parvatamma, I want to talk to him. Remember, that boy asked him for help, right? So he said, I want to talk to him. Then it seems his mother told him, Ayya, he gets up only at midnight. See, this was only the evening time, right? Immediately after the office hours were over. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock probably, by the time he reached Adivarapeta. So my grandfather said, no problem. I'll continue to stay here until midnight. I want to meet him and talk to him. And only after that, I'll return home. Okay. Then I am told that Allaka Parvatamma cooked a meal for him, my grandfather, that night. Okay. Then he had the dinner there, cooked by Allaka Parvatamma, and he slept on a cot there. You must have seen the cots in Adivarapeta, right? They'll be lying on the road. So such a cot was put up for my grandfather. He lied down on that until midnight. So at midnight, he got up and then he went back to that hut in the graveyard. Then he talked to Satyaraju. Then he asked Satyaraju, you asked me for help, so what is the help you need? So that is when Satyaraju told him about the trouble that the village boys were giving him. They were not allowing him to do the meditation peacefully. They were hurting him, beating him up whenever they get a chance, and all that. Okay. So from that time onwards, my grandfather used to go to Adivarapeta once in a while and make sure that Satyaraju is not given any trouble there, okay, by the other villagers. Then gradually the story builds from there. The collector also came to see Satyaraju under the guidance of my grandfather. Then Satyaraju asked for a tiger skin to be brought. Look at that, a village boy who is sitting in a small hut and he asks for a tiger skin when the collector asks him, do you need anything? A tiger skin, not any other skin, okay? But luckily they found a tiger skin. And that tiger skin was given to my grandfather. When my grandfather took that tiger skin back to the hut where Satyaraju was seated in tapas, then he wondered that if the skin is put on the damp ground, so that means Satyaraju was actually sitting on the damp ground by then in the field. Okay, actually in the graveyard, but it's a field, right? All around it there are fields, there is water there all the time. So the damp ground. So my grandfather realized that if the skin is put on the damp ground, it will start rotting. So to preserve the skin, he ordered a small table to be made. Okay. So that table was given to Satyaraju to sit, and the tiger skin was put on the table. And since that time, Satyaraju started sitting on the table on the tiger skin. Okay. So let me stop here. We don't have much time. Let us address the other questions. If we get a chance again, I'll try to return to my experiences as a child when I was with my grandfather. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle. Thank you. We felt it is like, we wanted to hear more about that actually. It was so interesting.
Okay.
Okay, Uncle, let's move to the other question then.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions further to discuss on this or any other
Yeah,
topic?
please.
Please raise your hands. Oh.
Yeah. Navya? I see your question, Amma. You put the question in chat, right?
Yeah, uncle. That's from YouTube.
Okay. So can you record that person's name or something, Amma? I think it'll be there in the comments in the YouTube, right?
Yeah, the name is not clear. It is written like Chhattisgarh or something. So,
Okay, right. No, we will try to contact him later on. Okay? That's
okay.
not a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Amma?
Uh,
So does anybody else have any questions regarding this? Yeah, Pawan. We can go to the next question,
I
Pawan.
think Trimurtulu raised his hand, uncle, if you permit.
Oh, sorry.
Trimurtulu.
Trimurtulu, yeah. You can please unmute him.
Yep.
శివాలయ మహారాజ్ కి
Jai.
అదే వెల్ల జమీందారు గారి గురించి అండి.
Huh.
అంటే ఆయన తపస్సులో ఉన్నప్పుడు ఆయన ఎలా ఎంటర్ అయ్యారు ఎవరని చెప్పారా, అలాగే ఆయనకి ఏమైనా తెలిసి ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఉందా అనేసి అండి.
అవును త్రిమూర్తుడు దాని గురించి కూడా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఉంది. అయితే ఇక్కడ ఆయన స్పెసిఫిక్ గా మా తాతయ్య గారి గురించి అడిగారు కాబట్టి అది చెప్పుకుంటూ వచ్చాను ఇక్కడ.
అదే
ఇంకోసారి ఎప్పుడైనా అవకాశం
సరే,
చిక్కినప్పుడు మళ్ళీ ఆయన విషయం కూడా ఎత్తుకుందాం.
అలాగండి.
నన్ను నృపేంద్ర సింగ్ గారు ఇప్పుడు జాయిన్ అయినట్టుగా ఉన్నారు పవన్.
Okay, uncle. Hello, Upendraji. You want to introduce him, right, uncle?
No, see now the question is over, right?
Oh,
So let
yeah.
us look for the next opportunity, Pawan.
Okay, uncle.
Yeah,
Okay.
so let's go ahead with the next question.
Sure,
please.
uncle. Thanks, uncle. So next question is from Vaishnavi, Bangalore, uncle.
Yeah. Is she there in the Zoom?
Don't think so. As I heard, like she might be, she's something occupied with some office work, so she
Okay.
might not be joining.
Ah.
But on behalf of
No,
our-
let me just tell Nrupendra Bhaiya, I just finished answering your question, Bhaiya. So I'm sorry, I did not wait for you. I could not wait for you. So you can listen to the recording, Bhaiya. Okay. Yeah, Pawan. So
Okay,
go ahead with the question.
Yeah, moving ahead with the other question. Other question is from Vaishnavi, Bangalore.
Yeah.
Why do yogis suffer illness after tapas and self-realization? So why do
Okay.
yogis suffer after tapas and self-realization?
Yeah. Go ahead with the Q4B also, Pawan.
Okay, uncle. So
No,
there-
still see, after that question, there are a couple of sentences, right? So can you also read those?
uncle, okay, let me see. That is after
Q4A,
Q4B.
there are a couple of sentences after that.
Give me a second, uncle. Let me refer to that again if I'm missing something. Give me a second. I'm just going through it again. What I got message, I don't have that, uncle. Maybe I have to refer somewhere else, but I don't have handy with me.
No, I did not send you. It should be there in the Satsang group itself.
Okay, Satsang. Okay, I'll get that. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
Okay.
పవన్ కొంచెం మైక్ దగ్గర పెట్టుకోండి పవన్, సరిగా క్లారిటీ లేదు.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it is. Thanks, Bal. Okay, I'm seeing it now, uncle. I'm just trying to, yeah. Here in the Satsang group also, I see it is only A, and the part B have few questions additional. I mean, explanation additional, but I don't see.
Okay, so after Q4A, is there no?
No, uncle, I don't have.
Okay,
after
so let
after
me read
B,
that one.
yeah, after B it is there. Yes. Okay,
Okay.
uncle.
No, let me read the sentences after Q4A.
Okay, uncle.
See, Vaishnavi has written, Ramana Maharshi had cancer. So she's giving us examples, okay, in his arm. Yet he said, The body itself is a disease. He remained completely peaceful through intense pain. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa suffered from throat cancer. So these are the two lines she wrote after Q4A. So can you read Q4B, please?
Yes, uncle. Yes, uncle. To continue with that, I mean, she says
Yeah.
other question she has is many yogis who did tapas experienced illness before they left their physical bodies. Had Swamiji discussed or talked about this any time?
Okay.
So she gives the examples here like Ramana Maharshi and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa.
Okay.
So, and then Vaishnavi answers it a bit as well. So, many ways explain that enlightenment removes ignorance,
Yeah.
not the already started karmic effects of the body. Prarabdha karma continues even after realization. Even after enlightenment, the result of prarabdha must play out. Taking on others' karma compensate suffering. Some traditions believe great deeds may absorb and reduce the suffering of devotees. It is often described in Bhakti and Tantric paths. Not all the masters openly say this, but devotees preserve it as that way. Did our Swamiji talk about this?
Okay, Pawan, thanks.
I'll just paste this question as well into the chat so that others can also read this. But yeah, okay, uncle, just for his. Yeah.
So here, Vaishnavi is asking a question as to why do yogis suffer illness after tapas and self-realization? Okay. She's not there, so I could have asked her for the clarification. So one way of interpreting this is that is even after doing tapas, even after performing tapas, and even after self-realization, why do these people suffer illnesses? Okay. Now that's the way I am looking at the question. So the assumption is that once you go through tapas and once you get self-realization, you should not have any disease, you should not suffer. That's the assumption. But she thinks it's very surprising that they also suffer, right? Now, the other interpretation of the question could be that, I mean, the question almost implies that immediately after tapas and immediately after self-realization, they suffer from illness. I don't think that's the case. Okay, I mean, if I'm talking based on Swamiji's example. If you take Swamiji, I mean, he completed tapas in 1961. He had self-realization in 1961. Almost up to 85 or 86, he was quite healthy. Okay, he did a lot of work, he did a lot of traveling and all that. He was not sick during that time. Okay, he fell sick after 90s. Okay, 91, 92, 93. That was the time he was sick. Okay. Now, I think the same is true with even Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He was quite well to do, he had good health until the last moment when he had to suffer the throat cancer. Okay. I think the same is true with Ramana Maharshi also. He was healthy for quite a few years. Then he started suffering cancer and he struggled with that. Okay. Now, in addition to asking the question, Vaishnavi also gives a couple of explanations. Okay. She says, I mean, she uses the term enlightenment. I mean, I don't want to get into that right now for this question, but enlightenment, tapas, and realization are not the same. They're all different. They're all different stages in realization. Okay. But what she wrote is that enlightenment removes ignorance, not the already started karmic effects of the body. So what she's saying is by that time, if the person has already started suffering the effects of the past karmas, that is, the actions that he had performed in the previous births, that effect will continue. That effect will not go away just because he is enlightened. That's one explanation she gives. Then the second explanation she gives is that these gurus, yogis, they take on the suffering of their devotees. I know that even this is true with Swamiji's case also. We have reasons to believe that he took over the suffering of his devotees. Okay, in some cases, devotees themselves have expressed this opinion. When they became well, when they were healed of the sickness, they felt that it is Swamiji who took over the illness or the suffering. Okay, so I agree with her. This could be the reasons. So did Swamiji talk about these things? That is her question. Okay. Now, so I mean, the question that a lot of people have, which I heard from others also, is that, see, we have several examples of devotees being fully cured from very critical, very severe illnesses. Okay, people being cured from cancer. Even such examples are available. And people being cured from other mental diseases, okay, other physical ailments. They get completely cured. Heart attacks. I know of examples like that, who were cured with the use of Swamiji's blessed vibhuti. Okay. Now, if that is the case, why doesn't a yogi cure himself? If he can cure a number of his devotees, why doesn't he cure himself? Okay. So that is the obvious question. That is, in that context, it really becomes a question. It's not that he cannot treat or he cannot heal. He has healed several of his devotees, but when it comes to himself, he doesn't do it. Why doesn't he do it? Okay. So that's the question. See, one answer that is known to a few people is that the yogi does not use the spiritual powers that he has acquired through tapas for his own sake. Just let me give you a different example, not the health part, okay? We see that a number of devotees of the yogis become very prosperous, right? They earn a lot of money, they have a lot of buildings, a lot of cars, a lot of wealth, but the yogi remains poor. And all those devotees attribute their prosperity to the yogi, to the guru. But the guru remains poor, he doesn't care. Okay, so that's another example. I know of several devotees of Swamiji who have prospered with his blessings, but Swamiji had to struggle right up to the last moment, even to provide food to people who are living in his ashram. Okay, so that was his case, but he never used his spiritual power to acquire such wealth, although his devotees were blessed with such wealth. Okay, so that's an example. So in the same way, he doesn't use his spiritual power to cure himself. Okay, so we think this is a kind of a selfless act. No, they are not selfish. That is the reason they do this. That's again one of the explanations. But what I am getting to is a very different perspective to this, which we got directly from Swamiji himself. So I will try to spend the next 5 minutes explaining that. Okay. Now, this incident happened in 1993 when Swamiji was extremely sick because of the failure of both his kidneys. Okay. That was a complete failure of the kidneys. Okay. I mean, please understand, when I say kidney failure and total kidney failure, what I mean is he couldn't pass urine at all. He was not passing urine at all for days, months on end. Okay? So just try to imagine Normal healthy people like us, we drink about 2-3 liters of water every day, and we pass urine at least 4 to 6 times a day. So imagine what will happen if all of that stays inside the body. You see, the kidneys use the water that we drink to clean our system, right? To clean our blood, actually. The blood circulates in the kidneys, and the kidneys remove the unwanted water as well as other waste material, including the toxins also, and throws it out, excretes it, right? So if that has completely stopped and all that remains in the blood itself, I mean the water as well as all the waste material and the toxins, if they all remain in the blood and continue to accumulate, can you imagine what will happen to the body? Swamiji lost his appetite completely. He couldn't eat. I mean, he lost his taste also. He doesn't feel like eating anything. Like it happens to us when we have high fever. We cannot eat anything, right? So he lost his appetite, he lost his taste, and he gradually became so weak that he could not get up from his bed by himself. He could not even come to the dais to give darshan to people. But he never stopped giving darshan. Until the last day, we had to carry him to the dais, put him on the dais, and he would give darshan to devotees. Even then, he did not stop. Because for him, it was a mission given to him by his guru. Okay, so that was the case. He could not eat any food at all. And he used to drink water in a small balu. ఒకసారి ఇది ఆన్ చేస్తావా?
ఏం అంకల్?
అదే నా స్క్రీన్ చూపించమని అడుగుతున్నాను అంతే.
సరే అంకల్, చూపిస్తాం అంకల్.
He used to drink water in a small vessel like this, a small glass vessel. He was permitted to drink about 50 ml of water at a time. Because his kidneys had failed, right? He could not excrete the water that he was drinking. And if he drinks water, it gets accumulated in his body. And the only way to remove it is through dialysis. Okay? Now, gradually, the dialysis had to be performed 3 times a week, every alternate day almost. Okay? And once the dialysis is performed, he is okay, he recovers, and then for about a day, he's okay. The next day, again, the trouble starts. Okay? So this was his condition. So he was struggling a lot. I mean, unlike some people believe that yogis don't feel the pain, don't struggle. We have seen Swamiji struggle very severely, okay, for years on end because of bad health, okay. Now, so this was the situation. I want you to understand the situation. That's why I'm spending a little. So in such a situation, again, this incident also, myself, my sister, and Yashodaka were there around his bed. And then my sister started asking him, Swamiji, why don't you use your power, your tapashakti to heal yourself? Then Swamiji answered, Amma, you know that Swamiji does not or cannot use his tapashakti for his own sake. So Swamiji cannot heal himself using his tapashakti. Then my sister protested, Swamiji, we are not asking you to do it for your sake. If you become healthy and your life extends, see how many devotees will be benefited by that. You can continue to serve so many people. So we are not asking you to heal yourself for your sake. We are asking you to do it for our sake, for the sake of devotees. Please do it. Please use your tapashakti to heal yourself. It's not for your selfish reason. It is for ours that we are asking you to do this. You know then what Swamiji said? This is the important part. Please listen and understand this. I may take a few minutes more, a couple of minutes more. Then Swamiji told us, Amma, listen to me. When Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi appeared in front of me, appeared in front of Swamiji, he never used to address himself as me or I. In front of Swamiji, when Swamiji completed the 12-year tapas and asked Swamiji, what do you want? Whatever you want will be given to you. Your tapas is complete now, and you can ask for any boon you want. It will be granted. So what did Swamiji say then? I mean, this is Swamiji speaking to us, okay? So what did Swamiji say then? Swamiji told them, I did not do this tapas by myself. You made me do it. You guided me. You made me complete my tapas. So I don't have any desire. I don't have anything to ask you. I don't need any boon. You made me do the tapas. You tell me why you made me do the tapas. For what purpose? What did you want me to do after completing tapas? Why are you asking me what I want? No, I don't want anything. So tell me if you want me to do anything. And if you say that you have nothing to tell me to do, I will go back to my profession. I will continue to weave cloth. I will do my business. I will take care of my mother and my family. Can you imagine that? A person who has gone through 12 years of arduous tapas, almost dying so many times during that tapas. At the end of it, when the God comes and asks him, what do you want? He says, I don't want anything. And if you say the tapas is over, I'll just go back to weaving my cloth and living my old life. Can you imagine that? That is when Lord Shiva and Parvati were happy with Satyaraju. He said, yeah, this is the kind of person we want to do our work. Okay? If the person has any ego left in it, any selfishness left in him, whatever powers he has acquired through tapas, he will utilize them for his own sake. Only a person like this, who doesn't have any desire in mind, who doesn't want anything for himself, only he can do our work, our mission. That is Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati's mission, the God's mission. Okay? Then Swamiji continued. That is when they gave me the powers, Amma. That is when they blessed me with the powers. And then they ordained me to serve the devotees, serve the public. Okay? So today, if I use that power, that tapashakti that they have granted me to improve my own health, am I not breaking my promise? Am I not breaking my word? Okay? So this is the real answer that I want to give to Vaishnavi. Okay? So this is another angle, another answer to that particular question, why yogis don't use their powers to heal themselves. Okay? All the yogis that we know of are yogis like these. Swamiji himself told us that when a person completes tapas, he becomes, if he doesn't have any desire of his own, he becomes an agent of God. He will do whatever God asks him to do. Okay? So all the yogis that we know of, whether it is Shirdi Sai Baba, whether it is Ramana Maharshi, whether it is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, they use their powers only to serve the public because they have not asked God for anything for themselves. They don't want to break their word. Okay? Now, just to continue, if people don't mind, for another 2 minutes, I'll close it there because I won't get an opportunity to get back to this. So we three didn't know what to say, what to reply to Swamiji. Okay, I mean, his answer was very clear. He's not going to use it. He's not going to break his word that he has given to his guru. So immediately my sister asked him again, Swamiji, if that is the case, please tell us. We beg you, please tell us by what method, by what way can you get healed? Give us some way to do that. Then Swamiji replied, there is only one way, Amma. One of Swamiji's devotees will have to perform tapas, and when God appears in front of them on successful completion of the tapas, they should ask God for a boon to heal their guru. That is Swamiji. Do you understand that? Let me repeat that for clarity, okay? A devotee of Swamiji will have to perform tapas, and when God appears in front of them and asks them to ask for a boon, the boon that they should ask for is, please heal my guru. Only that way Swamiji's health can recover. Swamiji can be healed. Okay. Immediately Yashodaka jumped in. I mean, she was there. I mean, jumped in the sense she offered herself, saying, Swamiji, please initiate me into tapas. I am prepared to do tapas for you, for the sake of your health. So please make me do tapas. Okay. And we were wondering what Swamiji would say to that. Then Swamiji replied, no, Amma, you will not be able to do it because you are not trained for it. Okay. So tapas just cannot be done like that. People need to be trained to do tapas, especially if they have to please God so that God appears in front of them to grant them a boon. Okay. Then Swamiji continued, there is a devotee of Swamiji, Amma, who has completed 12 years of tapas. He knows how to do tapas. If he wants, he can again do tapas and he can ask God to heal Swamiji. But that devotee is not interested in Swamiji's health. He is interested in acquiring ashrams. He thinks that if Swamiji dies, he will inherit all the ashrams of Swamiji. So he is waiting for Swamiji to die. Okay? We didn't know what to say. We all fell silent. All three of us, we fell silent. Okay? This is what happened. So this is where I stopped the session. I'm sorry I took a few minutes more. I started a few minutes late and I had to continue until now. Okay, so I'll close it here. But as I have written today in the group, I would like to continue to be here for the next half an hour until 9 o'clock. I'll be available. So if any of you want to ask any questions, then, if I know the answers, I'll try to answer them. So thank you for your patience and thank you for listening to me. I enjoy talking about Swamiji, talking about God. So thanks for the opportunity for giving me the opportunity by asking such wonderful questions. Shivabalayogi Maharaj ki.
Jai. Don't be thanks to us, Uncle. We are very heartful gratitude to Jagdish Uncle for his really insights, what he has shared, and you've taken to any next level of it, Uncle. Thanks, and thanks so much for your answers. And yeah, this can be an informal meeting, I believe, right, Uncle?
Yeah, right. See, there are little questions here. For example, Vijaya is asking, so can you unmute Vijaya, please?
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. It was nice session. As always, we learned so many new things from you. Otherwise, we don't even know all this happened in the background.
Okay, Amma.
Anna, you told his kidney failed. What was the reason? Why did it fail?
Yeah,
Was
Amma.
it neglecting his health or?
No, Ma, it is quite simple. I mean, it's a very easy answer.
Mm,
See, he had diabetes, Amma.
mm,
Okay? He had diabetes since a very long time,
mm,
for several years, okay? And he was getting treated also for that.
okay.
And in those days, the treatment for diabetes was also not good like now, Right from the beginning, he used to take insulin,
Mm,
but he didn't want to disclose it. He didn't want people to learn that he has diabetes or he is taking insulin for that. So only those who used to, give him the insulin, only those devotees, two or three devotees, only they knew that he had diabetes or he was taking insulin. Okay. So it is actually the prolonged diabetes which affected his kidneys. And that's what the doctors will tell you. Anybody who has diabetes for a long time, eventually it will affect, his kidneys, his heart, his lungs, his liver, all body parts will be affected. So that is the main reason the kidneys failed. Okay. But let me also tell you one more thing. See, in spite of the diabetes, he was able to travel. Like, for example, he traveled to the UK and the USA in 1990, right? I went along with him. But you will remember that on the way back, we were stuck in Kuwait. We were held hostage there, right? For a month. So during that 1 month, he could not take the insulin because we didn't have the stock of insulin with us in the cabin baggage, right? We had kept it in the checked in baggage because we were returning to Bangalore the same day. 2nd of August, we should have arrived in Bangalore here. But we got stuck for 1 month, and for 1 month, he could not take insulin. And because he was not taking insulin, he didn't want to eat much. No, but there was no food available also, right? Probably for 1 day we had food, 2 days we had food. After that, the food was also rationed. We were actually starving there, okay? And starvation is also not good for diabetics. You ask any doctor and they'll tell you. Okay, it'll aggravate the disease or the effect on the rest of the body. Okay, so we had to uh, stay there in Kuwait in the desert without food and without. I mean, Swamiji didn't get the insulin. Even I lost a lot of weight during that time. Okay, so that actually aggravated the kidney failure. Okay. So the next time when we went to the USA in 1991, we found that the kidneys had deteriorated a lot. Okay. Then from there, uh, it resulted in complete kidney failure, Amma. That's it. Okay. Any other question from anybody else?
Anna, that Swamiji tried to do Kaya Kalpa.
Yeah.
Was it also like for this sugar thing only, or for like in generally he wanted to
No,
extend his?
we don't know whether Kaya Kalpa will treat diabetes, Amma. See, Kaya Kalpa generally does rejuvenation of the health. Okay.
Mm,
So we know that Tapasviji Maharaj did it several times, and
mm,
each time he used to regain his health, like almost a 90, 100-year-old Tapasviji Maharaj. It seems became like a 60-year-old Tapasviji Maharaj again.
mm,
Okay, like that. So it does rejuvenation. But the last time that Swamiji did Kaya Kalpa, that was it had to be done while the dialysis continued. We could not stop dialysis, right?
mm,
See, because he was not passing urine because the kidneys were failed. Kidneys had failed, right?
mm,
Now, if we don't do the dialysis, then the water will accumulate in the body, and the Kaya Kalpa will not immediately cure the kidneys, right?
mm, mm.
And see, again, this is my theory, again, from my observations only. What I feel is, if you become 90 or 100 years old, provided all your organs are functioning normally, okay, they will recover with Kaya Kalpa. But if the kidney has already failed 100%, I don't think Kaya Kalpa will help recover the kidney, okay, failed kidney. A normally functioning kidney, 10% reduction in functioning, 20% reduction in functioning, which happens with age, that maybe it will recover. But a 100% failed kidney, which is not processing any urine at all, that I don't think even Kaya Kalpa will help. Okay? So that's my explanation. Yeah. Any other questions?
Swamiji, why, when he was doing tapas, Tapasvi Maharaj came and helped.
Yeah.
But even Jangama Sadhu was coming all the time. Why he did not help him? What was he for then? Why he had to make Tapasvi Maharaj come? Why couldn't he tell him you have to eat properly, you have to take care of your health? And he could have even provided whatever is required. No, if he had blessed, it would have all happened. It should ideally happen with that.
So the Jangamadevara could have come and bought a cow and a calf and given it to Parvatamma so that she can give milk to Swamiji, right?
He could have at least blessed him somehow.
No, what do you understand? See, what I am trying to tell you is, the Jangamadevara was an astral form. He was not a physical man. Right? And who has to give you Swamiji milk?
So at least
the Jangama could have told Satyaraju, please drink milk every day, 1 glass of milk. Yeah. But how is he going to get it? Somebody has to supply the milk, no? So somebody else had to be told. And that is why Tapasviji Maharaj was chosen by God. So God went to Tapasviji Maharaj, gave him a vision and said, this boy is waiting for you. If you don't go there, he will die. You understand how it works? That is why Tapasviji Maharaj had to go. And then because he knew what tapas was, he knew that you should not starve yourself. You have to take some nutrition. And because he was a Tapasviji, people believed him. See, until then, all around him thought that he should not take any food. My grandfather could not have done that because my grandfather didn't know what tapas was. Right? So did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello, Jagadish.
Yeah, Chandra.
Thanks. It's getting more and more interesting by the week.
Okay.
We carry on this way. Another 52 weeks will be nothing, with Swamiji's blessings, of course. Coming to the question of asking Swamiji, Swamiji used to tell us in England that even if, I think I told you about this, even if God appears before you and asks you what you want, Swamiji told us, ask for good dhyan. He told us that directly. So that's quite interesting, isn't it, by itself?
See, Chandra, it depends on the context, right? For example, if God appears in front of you and me, we'll have to ask for dhyan only, right? Because that is what will take us to, realization, right? But then a self-realized yogi who has completed 12 years of tapas, he doesn't need to ask for dhyan anymore, right?
Yes, that's true. That's true. So progress that way through dhyan. Yeah. Balayogi Maharaj ki
Jai.
Jai. Thank you.
10 minutes more if anyone wants to ask any questions. Nipendra Bhaiya.
Yes, Bhaiya.
Yeah, please. Namaskar.
Greeting. Bhaiya, I just wanted to ask you about Swamiji's foot. One of his feet was very swollen, the foot that suffered from a snake bite,
Yeah.
the snakes that hung around Swamiji's neck, and then it got inflamed while Swamiji was traveling uh, in one of his trips, I think in North India,
Yeah.
and foot never healed.
Yeah.
So that had a big bearing on Swamiji's health. So I just wanted
Yes.
to know if shed some light on Swamiji's
Yes, Bhaiya.
foot.
See,
Yes.
so let me tell you the details of that. Is that your question, Bhaiya?
Yes.
Okay. See, this is what had happened actually. Swamiji learned that Maharaja Rajendra Narayan Singh Dev had passed away. Okay. So he got the news probably by telephone when he was in Adivarapeta. At the Adivarapeta ashram, he was there. And then he got this news by telephone that Maharaja has passed away. Rajendra Narayan Singh Dev, that is Mataji's husband. Okay. Now, so that Queen and the King had been supporting Swamiji a lot to carry out his mission. Okay. So Swamiji immediately wanted to go to Bhubaneswar, I think. No, actually, Balangir. Balangir or Bhubaneswar.
Balangir.
In Orissa. Yeah. So he had no option but to travel by car. And in those days, he used to travel by car most of the time. This was an old car even by then, okay? So he got into the car and there was a nephew of Swamiji who is no more now. He was called Abulu. Okay, and he was the only one available there who could drive a car. So Swamiji asked him to take the steering wheel and then Swamiji sat in the back seat and then they started going to Balangir or Bhubaneswar. I mean, which is like almost 1,000 kilometers there. Okay, 1,000, maybe 500-600 kilometers. It was a long journey. That's the point I'm trying to make. So Swamiji was seated in the back seat alone, and Swamiji's nephew was driving the car. They left from Adivarapeta, long journey, and they reached, by the time they reached the Maharaja's place, right? The way Swamiji told us the story is, he didn't feel anything until then. But when he opened the door and got out of the car and put his weight on his foot, right foot, the foot burst open, he says. Okay. Yeah. So then he realized, I mean, he said, what happened? Why did the foot burst like this? Why is it started to bleed? Okay. Then when the people inspected, they found that the exhaust of the car was very hot. Okay. It became very hot. And because of that, the floor of the car became very hot. Yes. And the carpet which was inside on the floor inside the car, it seems that was also burnt because of the heat. Most probably the exhaust pipe was touching the floor. Okay. So that these people didn't know. And so that heat burnt Swamiji's foot. But then there is another doubt, right? I mean, why did not Swamiji feel the heat? I mean, your foot is burning, you are in the car, you should know that your foot is burning, right? I mean, there are two answers to this that I know of. The first thing is, probably by that time, he already had diabetes and he did not know about it. He, in the sense, I mean, the doctors could not find it. He hardly approached a doctor for any treatment. So the diabetes that he had by that time was not diagnosed yet. So we know that, I mean, what we call as diabetic nephropathy, right? Meaning the nerves become insensitive, especially at the ends of the body, like fingers feet. So you don't have the feeling, they become numb. Okay. So because of that reason only, he didn't feel the heat. I mean, but when the foot was burning also, he didn't feel the heat. I mean, that is improbable, right? So the other explanation that we have is generally during traveling, especially in the car, Swamiji used to go into samadhi. Okay. So probably that's what happened during that trip also. And he was in samadhi, so he didn't realize that his foot was burning. So when he opened the door and put his foot down, by that time a big blister had formed under the foot, under the sole. Okay. So when he put the weight on that, the blister just burst, yeah, and it started bleeding. Now, after that, what happened is, he must have returned to Adivarapeta, but he didn't approach a proper doctor. He didn't get proper nursing done for that wound, okay? And we are told that anybody and everybody, people close to him, but they were all villagers. They didn't know how to treat a burn wound, especially. See, the other wounds like cut and bruise and all, they can easily heal. But a burn is very difficult to heal. Any doctor will tell you that. Okay. And it gets infected very easily. And that got infected with fungus. Okay. I mean, it must have had several infections because they were not using sterile uh, tools or sterile bandages or cotton or nothing like that, right? So they just used to clean it like they used to clean the body, normal skin. So I think because of that, it got badly infected and the whole foot was swollen, right from the foot until above the knee also. I mean, we could see the swelling even in the thigh, the right thigh. Okay. And that continued for years together, decades, I should say. Okay. And he didn't mind it. I mean, he used to just walk like that. He used to limp a little. I mean, you can see the picture of his feet. You will see that the right foot is extremely swollen. Okay. Then we realized that there was a fungal infection in that. A couple of American doctors tried to treat that, but they could not. They tried to bring out the toxins from the foot and all that. And as you say, Swamiji used to explain to us that, actually it is a snake bite. And again, the poison has come back or something like that. Well, I don't understand that, Bhaiya. See, that's exactly the spot where the snake bit him, okay? In between the toe and the first finger of the foot, of the right foot. So Swamiji used to tell us that the poison of the snake is, again, what shall I say? Having its effect again. Yeah. So that's it, Bhaiya. That's the story I know. Anyone else? Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, I see there is a question from Phil. So I'll try to answer that. Navya, can you forward these questions or no? If you can copy paste them to WhatsApp, Amma, I'll try to answer them. He is there on WhatsApp. I have his WhatsApp number.
Okay, uncle.
Okay, Navya. Thank you. So, Pawan, shall we?
Thanks. Yes, uncle. We can
Close it
conclude
here?
this section. Yes, uncle.
It's 9 o'clock now.
Yes,
We can
uncle.
close it.
Heartful thanks to you, uncle, for your guidance, insights. I mean, it was really a blessed session. Thanks a lot, uncle. Thanks all for your participation, everybody, and keep posting us questions. That's all the end of Satsang 3. Jai Shivabalayogi Maharaj ki.
Shri Shivabalayogi Maharaj ki.
Jai. Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Jai. Meet you again in the next Saturday. Thank you all. Have a great week. Bye.
క్లోజ్ చేస్తావు బాలు?
ಅಂಕಲ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂಕಲ್.
ఓకే బాలు, థ్యాంక్స్ బాలు.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂಕಲ್. ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು.